3 weeks ago, I accidentally heard something my husband didn't know I was listening to. He was on the phone with his mom in the living room while I was walking through the hallway. His voice changed the moment he started talking to her. It became softer, calmer, almost like he was suddenly a little boy again. At one point, he quietly said, Amma, I really miss your biryani. That was all. No complaining, no long conversation about it. He just laughed awkwardly after saying it, like he felt silly for admitting it, and quickly changed the topic. I stood there for a moment and didn't say anything. The thing is, 14 months ago, we moved far away from his hometown because of my job. His entire family still lives back in Chennai. His parents, his sisters, even his 90-year-old grandmother, who still wakes up every morning and makes chai for herself. He never once complained about leaving them behind. He packed his life into 2 suitcases, moved to a new city where he knew no one, and adjusted quietly. He learned new grocery stores, found a route to work he liked, and never made me feel guilty about the move. But that one sentence, I miss your biryani, stayed in my mind. For 3 weeks. My husband is the kind of person who never asks for things. He just accepts whatever life gives him. But sometimes, at night I notice him scrolling through his mom's Instagram page. She posts pictures of food almost every day. Festival dishes, Sunday lunches, homemade sweets. And every time he looks at those pictures, he goes quiet. So I decided to try something. The biggest challenge was the recipe. His mom barely speaks English and my Tamil is basically non-existent. So I secretly called his younger sister and asked her for help. She immediately agreed but made me promise not to tell him. We got on a video call and she started explaining how to make the biryani. The problem? Nobody in that family measures ingredients. She kept holding spice jars up to the camera, saying things like, maybe this much. No, wait. A little more than that. I wrote everything down in a notebook like I was preparing for an exam. Then came the ingredients. None of the nearby grocery stores had what I needed. After searching online, I finally found an Indian grocery store, about 90 minutes away. So the next morning, I woke up at 5:30 a.m., quietly got dressed, and left the house before my husband woke up. The drive was peaceful, empty roads, early morning sunlight, and a lot of nervous thinking. When I reached the store, the owner actually helped me find everything. At one point, he even called his wife from the back to help identify a spice I was describing very badly. They were so kind that I almost got emotional standing there in the aisle. I got home around 9:45 a.m. My husband was still asleep. I quietly carried the bags inside, hid the ingredients behind the rice cooker, and slipped back into bed like nothing had happened. Later that day, I needed to get him out of the house. So I secretly messaged his friend the night before and asked him to invite my husband over to watch a game. Thankfully, he agreed. Around noon, my husband left, slightly confused about the sudden invitation, but still happy to go. The moment the door closed, I started cooking. 3 hours of chaos followed. I burned the first batch of onions completely and had to start again. I called his sister 2 more times in panic. At one point, 4 different things were cooking at the same time, and yes, the smoke alarm went off for about 5 seconds. I stood on a chair, desperately waving a towel at it like my life depended on it. But then something changed. The smell in the kitchen slowly started becoming deeper and richer. Warm spices, rice, and something comforting filled the air. I don't know if it tastes exactly like his mom's version. She's been making this dish for 40 years. I've